If you don't maximize Q4 to your full advantage, you are a pussy ass bitch. This is the one time in the whole entire year that you can spend as much money as you can and you'll make back minimum 2x, as well as you can obtain the most amount of customers without putting in that much work as long as you have inventory. And you will probably have your best month around this time period. It's usually September, October, November, December. November, December is probably the best months for every single just e-commerce brand, obviously clothing brands included. And if you guys don't prep for it, you're pretty much cooked. Now I will say this video is supposed to be posted on December because I have videos posted back to back to back for every 3 days up till December scheduled, but Q4 is pretty much over by then. So I'm actually doing you guys a favor and I'm going to upload this as soon as I stop recording it. Okay, so probably October something. And today I'm going to be explaining exactly how you can prep for Q4. If you guys don't watch this video, I don't care, because more money for me. Before I get started, you guys might be like, who is this guy? I go over this in every single video, but for those that don't know who I am, I'm doing around 6 figures per month. As you guys can see, Shopify dashboard. I don't like to flex it, but you know, obviously some of you guys might not believe me. So I'm doing okay. These are a couple testimonials from all the clients that I have helped. If you guys watch my second channel, I have these videos posted as well, and I've been helping clients out for a minute. I was also a Joe Schmo, so I'm not an influencer. I'm not a full-time guru. I don't make majority of my money from coaching. I make it from my brand. I'm making I'm making 175K, 140K. This is just 1 week, but like the point I'm trying to make is my coaching isn't gonna surpass my brand anytime soon. Started off with $1,000, no connections, no mentorship, blah blah blah. This is just my timeline on me starting my brand and hitting 7 figures at 21. Now let's just get started. So why is Q4 so good? This is a really good question. Common sense. It's just holidays. That's all it is. Okay, holiday season is the only reason why Q4 season is so good. And speaking of holidays, there's a lot of holidays. So this is obviously not in order, which is weird. I should just put it in order. But we have Thanksgiving, where people, you know, give presents to each other. We have Black Friday within the same month. I think November is just a really good month because you have Thanksgiving, Black Friday, which is the craziest day, and then we have Cyber Monday right after Black Friday, I believe. And then we have Christmas. I don't know what. Oh, this is Christmas Eve. Okay, so this is right before Christmas, and then we have New Year's. Since there's so many holidays, everybody just wants to buy presents. Everybody wants to buy presents for themselves, for their friends, family, etc. And this is the reason why Q4 just generally does really good. So for example, for me last year, the best month I had was Q4, around November, December-ish. It's the first time I hit 100K month, right? I don't even think I had the capacity to do 100K per month, but I still did it because it was Q4. So some things you need to look out for, right? Number one is it's probably going to be your best month as long as you prep correctly, right? If you have enough inventory, if you have been doing like your brand consistently, right? It's usually going to be your best month. Also, if you start your brand right now, it is probably the best time period because you're going to have just an incline in sales compared to when you start in like, I don't know, March or some shit like that. So usually it will be the best month. Fulfillment will be a nightmare. I do believe, or I do remember, I actually recorded this, you know, last year when it was Q4, but 100K month was the best month I've ever had, and I thought for some reason I'd be this happy guy as soon as I hit 100K, and I was obviously, but it was actually the opposite. I was stressed out. I was working every single day because of fulfillment, and usually during this time period, everyone goes back to their hometown for holidays, so I had to fulfill most of the orders by myself, which was a nightmare. So don't expect to be like, oh, happy and shit. Usually this is the most amount of stress, most amount of struggle, and overall it's just not a great experience compared to any other month because you have to fulfill all these orders, and that in itself is a nightmare. You're probably going to have more employees, which is another nightmare. Your payroll is going to go up, your costs are going to go up, and everything is just going to go up, right? Including your sales, hopefully. Your spend in ads will also go up as well, and the actual spend that you're spending, so your budget should go up, obviously, because you're spending more money, but the actual ROAS, every single metric should be lower, if that makes any sense. I'll go over it later, but pretty much because everyone is spending money on Facebook during this time period, you're not going to have crazy good ROASs. Like you're not going to have like a 5-6 ROAS because there's so many competitors literally running ads around the same time period. Now, what does this mean that you're going to have like a low ROAS? Not necessarily, because everybody is in the spirit of like shopping and shit like that. But for some weird reason, I think everybody thinks like as soon as it's Black Friday, as soon as it's like the holiday season, they're going to print so much, their ROAS is going to be like a 10, right? And that might be the case, right? Especially for exact days like just like Black Friday. But for the most part, like the whole entire month, if you look at it as a whole, your ROAS will probably go down because there's a lot more people spending money, but it doesn't matter. And I'll explain why later. So that's just a basic overview of what you can expect and things to look out for. Obviously, it should be your best month. If it isn't, that's kind of weird. And overall, you should just take advantage of it, right? So you don't need to do anything crazy. Obviously, this video will kind of explain what you need to do, but as long as you just exist, right? If you just operated exactly how you operated in the past couple months, you should make at least double what you've made in the whole month. So if you've done like, I don't know, your best month was like 50K, but you averaged like 30K, you should do minimum 60K. In my personal opinion, as long as you have enough inventory. So now we're actually going to go over exactly what to do step by step and how to prep for Q4. I will say October is a little bit late because November is literally in like 2 weeks ish, and I am actually a little bit behind as well because I'm doing Complex Con, which is like an in-person event, so I have to prep for that. I'm trying to drop a new collection every single month as well, so it's kind of difficult to really just be on top of everything, but honestly that's my fault. So step one is inventory. So how much inventory should you order? Let's say your normal amount for your whole total SKU is 1,000 pieces just overall. I would recommend double it at least. Okay, you should 2x it minimum. So you should have 2,000 SKUs. Now, the thing is with this is like a lot of people say, oh, you need to prep for Q4. You need to order inventory beforehand, which is true. Like, I'm not saying that's wrong, but you can still order inventory during Q4. Like, you can still order inventory during November. It's not like just because it's November, December, you're not going to be able to order inventory. Obviously, it will take around 2 to 3 weeks or maybe even a month, right, for the inventory to arrive, which by that point it's like December, but you can still order inventory. It's not like just because of the fact that you start Q4 you can't buy inventory. That's just stupid. So I would say at least 2x your winning products, right? So this is the inventory, but just overall you should just order more inventory, right? You should just have a lot more on your website, especially if it's products that you know that you can move, and do the math, right? So if you want to do like 50K per month, right? So if you want to hit a 50K month, do the math. If your average order value is, let's just say 65, that's a pretty good average for most clothing brands. Divide 50,000 by 65 and then see how many orders you need to get. And I would say multiply that number by like, I don't know, like 2 or 1.5. Main reason why is because you're probably not going to sell every single size and every single piece, right? So let's just say you need to get at least, I don't know, like how many orders, like 400 orders. Let's just say, for example, right? You need to get 400 orders to hit $50,000 in sales. Well, I would say you need to have at least like 600 to 800 actual products that are popular, because there's no way you're gonna sell like all the SKUs, right? So for example, if you have small, medium, large, XL, and you order, let's just say 100 for each, right? You're probably gonna do like 20, 30 or 40, like 20, 10 or something like that. But the problem is, like, usually, let's just say this small sells out fast. Now you have these sizes. Nobody wants to buy an XL because they're not that fat, or double XL. Let's just say you have like 10 here as well. So like these sizes, like XL, double XL, maybe even extra smalls, don't move as much. So if these mediums, large, XL, small are all sold out and all you have is extra small and double XL, you're not going to be able to move this no matter what, realistically speaking, right? Matter of time, maybe in a couple months, yes, but in this like short time period, no. So because of that, you need to have way more inventory compared to what the amount of sales that you actually want to get. So that's the inventory. Step two is winning products slash ads. So do not reinvent the wheel during this time period, especially. Okay. So obviously for me, I am trying to drop a new collection, but the thing with me is like I've been dropping a new collection every single month, right? But for the majority of you guys that don't even have that much capital, that don't even have a brand identity, you don't have that many followers, you do not want to reinvent the wheel. You just want to focus on your winning products and your winning ads. So let's just say you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 SKUs. Okay, this is a hoodie, this is a shirt, this is jorts, this is jeans, this is whatever. These lines indicate how many sales you get. So obviously these jeans right here gets the most amount of sales, right? Because this is supposed to be a graph. And what you would do is you would literally put most of your inventory and your ad spend, whatever the case may be, on this one product, and all these other products will naturally sell. Okay. Now, does this mean that you can't run ads on all 5 of these? You can if you want to, right? But the point I'm trying to make is like you probably don't even have that much inventory for these 4 anyways. So you're better off just spending a lot more money on this specific product, right? Spend more money on ads, spend more money just in general, right? Ordering more inventory. And because this is your winning product, it will bring in around 80 to 90% of your revenue anyways. So there's no point in spending money or at running ads on these 4 products. So you want to focus on your winning products. Okay. Do not focus on other products that nobody gives a fuck about. Do not try to get rid of inventory. Okay. That's the biggest myth and the biggest mistake that I see a lot is like a lot of these brands try to use this time period as like an advantage and try to move their inventory that doesn't move, which is fine. Like I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but you shouldn't focus on that, right? So like for example, let's say one of your products like a hoodie, right? You have 50 pieces left. It's been in your warehouse for like 6 months. Okay, you've been holding it for 6 months. Obviously, you want to get rid of this shit because you know it's not moving. You don't even want to sell it. You just want to get rid of it. You can do a sale. You can run ads on it, whatever. But the point I'm trying to make is like you should keep this to a minimal because this should be the least of your concern. You're gonna make way more money just focusing on the winning product. So you focusing on like the products that don't like move as much and try to move that shit, like that's stupid. Okay, so that's the first thing. Ads, another good example. Just focus on the winning ads. So whatever ads you have that were doing good on like September, October, should be doing good November, December, right? There's no reason why it would change. And then step 3, nothing new. So this is another concept that I learned around this time period, and this is something that I did last year actually, and I think it worked really well, which is I didn't drop nothing, I didn't add nothing crazy. Like I literally just stuck to what I was doing and just focused on what was winning. So this is similar to the winning products type shit, but for example, let's just say you haven't dropped anything for a while, or you haven't dropped anything, you didn't do anything crazy for a very long time for the past couple months, and for some reason, November, you want to drop this whole new collection with crazy different pieces, right? Like let's just say you've never done jorts before, but you're dropping jorts. You're dropping jeans, but you've never dropped jeans before. You're dropping like underwear. You know what I'm trying to say? You're dropping all these weird items that you've never dropped before, and you're doing everything completely different. You should not do that. The reason why is because this is not the time period to experiment. You can drop these things, but why the fuck are you dropping in November? It doesn't make sense. You want to drop this maybe March or I don't know, July or some shit like that, when you literally have time to experiment and see what works. The way you guys can look at this whole clothing brand thing is like if you break it down from like a e-com perspective, which like some people don't want to do that because it's a brand. Like shut your bitch ass up, bro. Like come on, it's a business at the end of the day. So if you really break it down, right, the whole entire year you're pretty much testing every time you drop a new collection, and by the end of the year, so like November, December, you collect all the winners, right, that I guess did really good. You restock the fuck out of them, and then you run ads on all of them. Okay, you don't want to experiment during November, December. That is stupid. It should be the opposite. You should be experimenting every other month except for November, December. So do not try anything new. Stick to what's working. Stick to the winning products. Stick to the winning ads. Okay. Expect 2 to 3x normal volume. Like I said earlier, this is pretty self-explanatory. you're just gonna get more sessions, more sales just in general, just by having your website open. Do not close your website during this time period. That's stupid. Do not do any crazy stuff. Obviously you can do sales, etc., but for the most part, like I said earlier, try to keep everything pretty similar. Okay, this doesn't mean like don't change your website and shit. Like obviously add a banner saying like Black Friday blah blah blah, 50% off, whatever, shit like that. You can change stuff like that, but the point I'm trying to make is like you don't want to drop anything crazy new like jorts or stuff that you've never done before. You can if you want to, but like why would you do that? That's stupid. It's Black Friday. And then finally, or not finally, step 4, look at your rev, not ROAS. So what do I mean by this? Like I said earlier in the video, your revenue will automatically go up because it's Black Friday, right? But your ad manager, like your ROAS, will probably go down, or it won't be as good, right? So let's just say your break-even ROAS is like a 1.8, right? So you need to hit at least 1.8 ROAS for you to break even. But on the Shopify dashboard, or let's just say on your ad manager, your ROAS is a 1.5, right? Normally, you would turn this ad off because it's under the 1.8, right? Because you're not making money, you're unprofitable. However, if you look at the Shopify dashboard compared to the ad manager, and let's just say you're spending $1,000 a day on the ad manager, but on the Shopify dashboard, you made $3,000, okay? Even though your ROAS is low, you're still making a profit on the back end, right? Because you have just so many people just going on your website. So technically, you can increase the ad spend or just leave it like this because of the fact that even if your analytics are bad and you're only having a 1.5 ROAS and your spend is like $1,000, if on the back end, like your Shopify revenue is showing $3,000, it doesn't really matter because you're still being profitable, if that makes any sense. I think this is the best way to explain it. This is pretty self-explanatory, but like I said earlier, during Black Friday, Q4, like a lot more people are spending money on ads. So your ROAS, your analytics will usually drop. Sometimes it doesn't drop. It just depends on your brand as a whole. Because like, for example, like there's so many, like this is the thing. I feel like people make it seem like, oh, ads is just generic and like everything works for everybody, but it's different. Like for example, if I restock a product that everybody wanted and I didn't restock it for a minute and I restock it during Black Friday, my ROAS will probably be like a 7 or 8. You know what I'm trying to say? But if I had the product available the whole entire year and I just run ads on it, it'll probably be like a 2 or 3 maybe, right? So like that's the point I'm trying to make. You need to realize that everything is situational, and just because of the fact that you have a 6 ROAS doesn't mean it's going to last forever. It's probably because you restocked the product that everybody wanted. Okay, so that's the way you have to look at it. Also, another question I get a lot is like, should you run like TikTok ads or like different channel ads? You can if you want to. I think the main thing though is like whatever you were doing before, just try it again. Don't try anything new, in my personal opinion. I think that's just the best bet. And then finally, plan out your rollout. So I think this is dependent on every single brand. For me personally, what I did was like, as soon as November 1st started, I did like a Black Friday early access sale. But I think it's just dependent on you. So like, for example, some brands do it like me, where they do like an early access sale until like the 25th or whenever Black Friday is. I believe Black Friday is like the last Friday before the month ends. I'm just assuming like 25th, for example. So during this time period, just a couple sales, like maybe 10 to 20% off, a couple products, and then actual Black Friday, that's like, you know, the time period where I do like the crazy sale, or that's when you should do the crazy sale, up to 50% off. A lot of your products should be on sale. And after that, we have Cyber Monday, which should be like, I don't know, nothing crazy, like not as much as Black Friday. So I would say like 30. And we have like Thanksgiving, or was that before? I don't know. Thanksgiving, you can do a sale as well. I mean, there's like so many holidays, like I said earlier. The point I'm trying to make is like, for the rollout, you should just copy other brands. Okay, so if you see like, I don't know, like Nike, for example, they do like a rollout like oh, November 1st is this type of sale, XYZ, etc. Try to copy them or use them as inspo. But I will say, to be honest with you, like none of this really matters as long as you have a pretty good sale during Black Friday and a pretty good sale during Christmas, okay? And maybe New Year's if you want to. And as long as you do that, you're good. Now, another question I get a lot is like, should you prioritize sales or profits? Okay. And I think it should be both. Like you should prioritize both. But the way I look at it is like a great majority of people that buy from your brand during Black Friday probably won't buy from you again. And the main reason why is because like a lot of people just spend money on fuck shit. Like they don't really care. Obviously, if you guys do a good job, like delivering the product, it has good quality, etc., you should be able to get returning customers from the sales that you get during Black Friday. But ideally, you're probably not. Now, should you prioritize profits? So the example I gave here, like technically you're not making a profit, but on the back end you are, right? So I think personally for me, it is a good opportunity to get a lot of sales and make a lot of profits. But I personally think if you prioritize sales first, like just getting as much revenue as possible, obviously don't be stupid. Like for example, if your ROAS is 1.5, but you're spending $3,000 a day and you're making 3K, that's kind of stupid, right? Especially if it's Black Friday or Q4. So you want to make sure that, you're being reasonable. But the point I'm trying to make is like, for example, during this time, like if this actually happened, because this actually did happen during my Black Friday season, like last year, Q4, I had a lot of my ad creatives had like a 1.5, a 1.2, a 1.6 ROAS and shit like that. But overall, I was only spending like $1,000, let's just say, and I was making way more on the back end. Like I made 3K per day, for example. So because of that, I was like, you know what? I'm going to bump with the budget, or I'm just going to leave it, right? So that's the way I thought about it. Some people might be like, okay, I'm turning this down until I have a good ROAS. That's completely fine as well, but you're just not going to get as many sales because obviously I'm willing to cut down on profits to get sales compared to you who just wants to make profits. So that's the way I would look at the profits and sales and everything like that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Hopefully you guys enjoy this video. If you guys want to work with me or I don't know, have me help you start and scale your clothing brand, the first link in bio is a link for you to submit to see if you're qualified to join. Obviously there is a standard, like I'm not going to accept everybody, because if I did, half the people in the program would just be lazy ass motherfuckers that didn't do the work, right? So fill out the application, see if you're qualified. If you guys are, perfect. And yeah, I mean, if not, totally fine as well. That's pretty much it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.